language using we can modify, insert, update, delete, and select the data from the database. So why we need database? So we can store everything in Excel, right? So why we need to why we are using database? So in that Excel there is a drawback. There might be a chance if server got crashed or your laptop got crashed, it is always stored in the local, right? Also it can be stored in your SharePoint share drive. But the problem is Excel also can be crashed and it cannot handle huge amount of data. So like if you have a 5 GB of data, we cannot process through Excel. So it's like a very heavy load. But we can process this data easily with a structure query language. Also, in the structure query language, it is something we call as a relational database. So maybe we can walk through those. What is relational database and what is this? But just basic understanding. So like I will give you. Let me open Excel. Okay. So if you see my screen, this is Excel, right? So in database also it is same. So what we see these records, all these things we select here, we call as a column. Let's column one. So like we have column 1 to column 10, same like in Excel, right? So this column 1 can be your first name, last name, middle name, date of birth, date of join, and your incentive, your like all the employee information. Example, if you take as an employee, so like if you take it as an example of employee, so this all information generally we store as a column, right? So I did not mention that, but there is a like Invent6 employee. Invent6 employees. So these are the columns: employee ID, employee number, employee first name, last name, middle name, email ID, everything. These all columns. And we say like in Invent6 we have thousands of employees. So all the thousands of employee, right? Say like EMP1 employee, say like this call we can say ID, right? ID and name. So like thousands of employee, one, two, example, I just drag till 194, but we have thousands of employee. All the employee information we can store in Excel file also, right? So why we need to say like employee name start with A, then B, then C, then D, whatever we have like this, all the employees, some name Suraj, Rakesh, Ramesh, like we have lot and their employee information. But this all information we can store in Excel. But the problem is when the data goes on increase, this Excel file we cannot maintain around million of billion of records, right? So it's very difficult. That's what we need a database to store all this information into a database. So generally, how this comes? This comes as a table. Generally, here it is also table, right? If you see here, we have a insert option, and if you see there is a table, right? So same, it is also in database. Also, we store it as a table. So that table contain what? Table contain like that header information. Header means nothing but this column and this rows. So same database also we are creating a table. In the table it contain columns and their values. So this we can generally as a designer we call it as a attributes. Okay, and these are the columns. Okay, so this is the way this data has been stored in database. Same similar to Excel, though it's not much difficulty, but we have some internal things that we discussed. Okay, so far we got what is SQL and why it is SQL. SQL means what you see. Okay, so SQL means what? It is a structured query language. And if you see in say like we have different technologies, right? We have WhatsApp. There also data has been stored, and we have Facebook Messenger. There also we can store the data. Even we can store the data into database. So why database is more important? Because in database we store see, like in WhatsApp, it is a free text. We store whatever you want, and there it's like not like everything, every data will be accurate. Maybe it's accurate, maybe different format. It is very difficult to read. That's what this big data, those things come to picture, right? But in database, if you have like 1,000 information, all the 1,000 information are accurate, right? And it is a structure. It's properly structured. If our employee, these are the information. So totally it's structured properly. That's what database is very, I mean to say database is very accurate data we can store. Okay, but if you see this log file, generally if in Java or anywhere, right? If you see this log file, those log files are also very difficult to read, right? So, but database, right? It is very easy to read. That's what this SQL stands for. Then, okay. Again, this SQL example in your academic, you may read about it. That DBMS, database management system, right? Similar like these things here. Okay. Again, this SQL generally it is having mainly it is having two. One is like DDL. DDL means it stands for data definition language. Some data definition language means it's something like you are going to create a table like in Excel, right? Here we have some sheet, right? This is the sheet. This sheet is nothing but a table. The table contain what? Column information and record information. We again this we call it a record. Okay. So same thing in database in any data. See again one more thing. SQL is not like it's specific to any database like Oracle, SQL Server, MySQL, or MongoDB or PostgreSQL. We have various even IBM also, right? Even if you go to different companies, they are using different database. But SQL is going to stay everywhere same. Maybe small minor difference. But if you know SQL, you can make yourself flop into any technology which contain the SQL. So that is the key thing. That SQL is like something called we call it inverter, right? So if you know the SQL, you can move yourself to reporting. You can move yourself to Cloud SQL. Even in existing DB also like SQL Server reporting. There itself we can put also this machine learning, right? Artificial intelligence, all the advanced technologies they using the SQL, right? So that's like kind of a base thing we need to learn. That's what we are here to. At least we can start with the SQL basic things. Okay, similar things right? In SQL, we have a detail, as I told, data definition language, which like general in Excel, how we can open a new Excel, create a new sheet. This contain table information. Similar in database, it is not like a graphical interface, right? You have to write through a command line, right? So how we can write? So there in it divided into multiple area. One is like DDL. DDL stands for data definition language. Here we can create a table, like generally create a Excel file, and you can drop that Excel file, drop the Excel sheet. Also, if you want to modify, right, similar thing like create the table, drop the table, alter the table. Altering means if you want to modify or you want to create and add a new column, or you want to drop a existing column, or you want to define a rule into a column, right? Those things you can deal with this alter command. Similar, we have another thing, DML. This DML stands for data manipulation language. So what is this data manipulation language? It stands for generally when you want to insert a record in Excel, what we have done? We simply wrote 1, 2, 3 line or something XYZ, right? In database, we cannot write like this. Database, what we have to do, we have to cure it. Maybe after maybe 1 or 2 days, we will see. We will walk through this, how to create this table, how to insert, how to update, how to delete, how to select the data, right? We will walk through each and everything. This is just for basic understanding. So DML stands for data manipulation language. Here we can insert the data, we can update the data, update the, see here the difference is alter is what? Alter is specific to a table, means you want to modify a column. But if you want to modify the data, we have to use this update, right? And you want to clean up this data. So so you have to write a command called delete. And if you want to generally select, it's a complete some Oracle or some, they will say DRL, data retrieval language. Those comes as a SQL, but sometimes it comes under DML as well. So that depends on your area of interest. But again, if you want to delete, you can you it comes under DML, and you want to select any data from database, you have to query. You have to query through select query. This is all about select. And again, we
Rakesh,
have. Hmm?
Rakesh, sorry to interrupt. Guys, anybody has any queries who have joined late or anyone? Because it's just going on a flow. Rakesh, in between, ask them if they have any queries and
Yeah.
if they're
I think
getting.
it's, yeah, correct. Guys, anybody have any doubt? So far we started. Maybe before leaving, maybe 5 to 10 minutes, we can discuss those things. If
Yeah,
anybody
yeah.
have doubt, I can
This is
clarify them.
quite self-explanatory and straightforward for people who know about this, but still,
Yes,
it's kind of a discussion. So whoever are working with SQL and they want to add any inputs, you can pause, Rakesh, and add also. So it's let's make it interactive. Let's not make it a session someone is presenting. Okay,
correct.
it will be a discussion. Yeah.
Yeah. Guys, if you have any doubt, you can feel free to ask. Just feel like a friend. Okay, I'm here like a, not just like a friend. You can ask anytime. Also, I'm sitting here. If anybody have doubt, also they can open to ask me. But I'm preparing. I will finish each and everything in this during this KT session. I will make sure nobody will have any doubt if you follow properly. Okay.
Right. And also one more suggestion: those who are not new to SQL, so select one database you want to choose, like SQL Server or MySQL or any of those sort, or even Oracle, if that is you have any free usage. Then start doing it, because every day we will be having this session. So start implementing, like write a simple insert statement, create a table, and then probably you will might get queries which you can ask Rakesh tomorrow, or anybody. I mean, like whosoever. This question can be to anyone, whoever works with SQL. Rakesh has taken this step to, help us learn about this. That is good. But everybody has to give their inputs as well, who all have been working on SQL. Yeah, you can continue, Rakesh.
Yeah. Thank you, Suraj. Okay, so guys, so far we covered DDL. DDL stands for create modification. DDL stands for like create, drop, alter. So when you're creating a table, drop a table, modifying a column, adding any rules, right? So DML stands for data manipulation language, which is nothing but inserting a record into a table, right? Updating, deleting, and selecting the data from the table. Similar thing we have a DCL. This stands for data control language. Data control language means what? Control means you want to do something, you have done something and you want to save, right? And you have done something and you want, okay, there is something wrong. I want to revert back. Right? Those comes under data control language, right? So okay, maybe it is not here, but okay, so DCL, maybe it is not here, but let me tell you. So DCL stands for data control language. We have kind of a commit, COMMIT commit, rollback, 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 and we have save point. Commit stands for you have done any insert or you have done any delete, right? Or you have done any update. So if you just simply close this SQL prompt, it will not store. So to store the data, what we have to do, we have to manually write a syntax called commit, COMMIT. That what it will do, it will make the transaction complete. Okay, so what is transaction? Generally in DB, many times we use a what is a transaction. Transaction means you do any insert, update, delete, right? Or you do any select.
Rakesh, one quick question here. So this commit applies to all DDL, DML, or only it applies to DML?
This commit applies to only DML, insert, update, delete. Okay. Again, if you do any insert, after immediately, if you do any DDL, like created a table, then in that scenario, it will make it as a auto commit. Means whenever you do a transaction, immediately after the transaction, if you create a table or alter a table or drop a table, means after DML, any detailed things came, right? Then it will make auto commit. But if you do only update, delete or insert and you suddenly close your session, maybe I'll come to what is session. If you suddenly close your browser or close your SQL prompt, it will roll back. Whatever you have done, it will not store. But you have done any insert, update, delete, and you have done any create or alter a drop, it will commit automatically. Got it?
Yeah, so it means DDLs are auto committed and
Yes.
DMLs are you have to manually commit it.
You have to manually commit. But if you are using a tool like Toad or SQL Developer, or if you are using any guys are working on SSMS, SQL Server Management Studio, like you can use Microsoft SQL Server or SQL Server. Generally in SQL Server, those things auto commit. But guys who are from Oracle, you have to manually add commit. In SQL Server also there itself there is a tool. In that tool you can manually if you are using tool base, right? Generally we should use, as a beginner you have to start using the CLI tool, command line interface. But if you are expertise, they can use these tools. But if in here, if any person is new, I would prefer them to start using CLI, and slowly, once you get expertise on CLI, then you can use these tools like SQL Server or sorry, SSMS or SQL Developer or Toad, like free version or license version, whatever you have. Okay, so I think I got it. So yeah,
Rakesh, I have one more doubt. Like
mm,
I think many people have this doubt. So
yeah,
like when we store the data, so it gets
mm-hmm.
stored in a file system, right? So
Correct, correct.
so we generally when we do the SQL commands to retrieve the data, we see in a grid structure, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Correct.
how exactly the data gets stored? Is it stored in a flat file or like how in Excel format or
Mm,
how it gets stored in the
no, no,
physical location?
that counts as a database administrator activity. I'll tell you. So first, I think if we answer you, maybe for juniors it will bounce to them. Maybe we can cover, but as you asked, let me answer you. When you store anything, generally, see, table is just a structure, as I told you, right? Table in database, table does not contain any data. Table is just a structure information. So this is the way we are storing the data, or this is the format we are storing the data. And this in this table, these are the columns. But internally, when we store the data, it will always store into a data file. Okay, so this data file consists of multiple segments, and this segment consists of multiple like table space, and table space which is nothing but we need to purchase, right? So like you have a table space, something called we can call it as a hard disk, right? So if you have 1 billion of record, that may take around 10 GB. If you do not have storage, you have to purchase the table space. Maybe you had about sandbox, right? So those are something called table space. You need to purchase. Even for cloud also, right? If your data goes on increase, you need to purchase the cloud space, right? So this is something called storage architect. But storage architect is comes under database administrator activity. So we do not need to discuss now. But maybe once this SQL course is completed, once we jump into advanced topic or performance tuning, maybe in next 3 to 4 months, if everything goes well, in those times we can discuss about the storage, how they file process, how this Oracle internally process the data. So at that time it will be more clear for everyone. Okay, maybe that is advanced thing. Even if I speak now, it will be confusion for others, juniors. Okay, but data always store in a data file. Okay, so that's the thing. But if a junior, a data store always in a table. So there are two ways, right? For a new person, where the data stored, they will for them answer is data store in table. For expert, where the data always store in data file. So data file consists of these are the things what I told. Okay, got it, Sudhanshu. Any other question?
Yeah, I have doubts on that. Like I need to see once you cover that advanced topic in future.
Yeah. At the time, it will be more clear also. Even I can open this Toad and I can show you where this data file, what is segment, what is table space, how many table space, how to identify if the table space is filled, even how a data file we can delete the data. In general, and when you delete a table, delete the records from the table in the data file where it is getting impacted, those are advanced things, Sudan. So we can cover later.
Yeah,
Those
yeah,
things.
Yeah, yeah,
maybe
sure.
that will
Yeah,
be
you can
covered
proceed. Yeah.
later, or if Sudhanshu is required, then probably personally you can ask him
Yeah, correct,
when you
correct.
are in office. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but whatever
Okay. Now
topics I
let's.
am discussing, you can ask so that it will be helpful for others as well. Okay, so let's start with again here as I told DDL, right? DDL is stands for create, drop, alter. So before that we have data type. In general in Java, people are from B Tech, right? They know about data type. What is data type? In SQL also we have various of data types like integer, and integer is for numeric data, right? We can call it is a number in Oracle. Also we can use int. Also we have a single like float. Float is for like if you have some minus, right? Or you have some dot like 32.25. Those things we can handle using float. Also we have text and string character. Maybe those I will come maybe once I create the table. In table I can cover up, but I will just give a heads up. Text is nothing but character based, string based. Also we have a long character in the sense we have a like we have a catalog file, right, which is contain 4000 bytes of information, 4000 characters. So those for those also we have different data type. Also we have time date time. Also we have some other timestamp, like it contain hour, date, minute, second, millisecond, microsecond, nanosecond. All the information we can get from the date and like timestamp. Okay, and we have currency. Currency in the sense we have a Indian currency like INR, US currency like EU, like dollar. Also we have euro. All these currencies we handled by like this database. Also we have long binary. Long binary we call like general LOB, large object, those things. And Boolean. Boolean, I guess you everybody know. Boolean is for true or false, right? Either it's a true or false. Okay. Maybe this data type I will cover more when I started creating these tables. And we have a variable character two. Those things also I will start once I start my practical session. Okay. Okay. Again, I think DML I already covered. Like DML is for insert, update, delete, and insert into. Okay, maybe before that. Okay, I think this is good. And see if I have anything here.
Rakesh, I
No.
have a question.
Okay, let's start with small example. I think it is there with me.
I guess Rakesh Sarita has a question here.
Yeah, Sarita, feel free to ask.
Actually, in DDL, and there is a drop table, right?
Your voice is low, Sarita. Can you speak loudly?
Hello, am I audible?
No, still slow.
Okay.
Still very low, Sarita.
We're not we're not able to hear you, Sarita. Can you check your mic, please? You are on mute, probably.
Hello.
Yeah, I think now it somehow I can able to hear you. Yeah, you can ask.
Yeah, and drop and delete. DDL, you have a drop table, and in DML, it is a delete. Delete is deleting the records and what is that fields of the table, and drop is a drop of the table. Is that, or drop and delete we
Okay,
can
okay.
simultaneously?
Let me open here. Okay, so
Rakesh, can you reiterate her question, because I don't think anybody could hear.
yeah,
Let me
I'll
check.
tell. I'll tell what she is asking. Okay, so when I discuss about DDL we have as I told create, alter, drop. Okay, and when we ask the DML, in DML we have insert, update, and delete. So Sarita, your question is the difference between this drop and delete, right? Or the difference between drop and truncate.
No, drop and delete.
Drop and delete. Okay, I'll tell you. So this the difference between drop and delete is when you drop a table, say like, see here, if you see, I will give a small example. So generally, forget about. So here we have a generally in SQL, when we create a table, this is the syntax. Just for now, just remember we have a table called Invin6 department. INV underscore DPT. I make a small name. Okay. So here this is a table. In this table, we are having select 1,000 of records. Okay. So two things we can do. So when we use drop, so what it will do, it will drop the entire table. So when you want to parse the table, sorry, not parse, when you want to clean up the entire table, we can use drop. So what it will do, it will remove this table from the database. So you cannot get it back. But that again here detail we have another option token. Maybe it was not there. I will cover here. Again, that the delete is what? Say like here we have 1,000 of record. Okay, in the 1,000 of record, say like example, say today I just left that organization. So in organization, they do not need my record. Right. So what they want to delete my record. So when they want to delete my record, right. So at that time they will use this delete command. So delete command, what it will do, say like we have 1,000 records. Once they deleted my record, it will stay 999 record. But when you use drop, what it will do, it will delete the entire table. So you have to create the table again. You have to manually insert the table, insert the records. Okay, so that's the major difference between delete and drop. Another major difference, when you drop, you cannot get it back. But when you do a delete, as I told, right, we have another option, DCL. DCL stand for commit, rollback, and save point. So when you delete a command, okay, when you write a delete query, if you suddenly close this browser, so still it will be there in that database, because after delete, either you have to commit. So once you click a commit, once you add like something like commit and then forward slash, then you have to execute. So what it will do, it will permanently store the data into database. But if you close it, whatever that existing version means, internally it will do a rollback. Means it will not store your records if you do a delete until and unless you haven't add commit. Got it?
Okay, so delete, we cannot delete a table.
No, using delete, you cannot able to delete the table. Using delete, you only clean up the records.
Right.
But you want to delete the table, you have to use the drop. Again, there is another difference using delete and truncate. Okay, so using truncate, okay, you can clean up the table, but it will not impact your structure. Again, it will not create any redo log file. Generally, when you do a truncate, what will do? It will not create a log file. But when you do a delete, it will generally you need to use commit and rollback, right? It has to create a log file. Again, it will store in those things into a log file. Generally, we call it is something like rollback segment area. Okay. So again, when you close, again it has to retrieve, or when you do a commit from there, it will store into DB. So there are kind of a database load when you do a delete. But whenever you want to clean that entire table, not that only that table records, then I would prefer truncate is the more faster rather than delete. But truncate will entirely clean the table. But drop will entirely delete the table. Delete the table means it will wipe out from the database. Okay, got it?
Yeah, got it. Drop and truncate are permanent things, and this delete is
Drop what it will do, it will remove this object from the database. Simple word. Truncate, it will remove the records from the database. Okay, that's it.
The table name will be there in case of
Table name
truncate.
will be there. If you use a truncate, the table name will be there. Only the records will be wipe out. But if you use a drop, the table name along with the records, everything will be move out. Generally, it will store into a recycle bin. From there also you can recover, but that's not in our case now. But the drop will completely remove the table. Am I clarify your answer?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Three of them got it. Got it. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So
Okay, so I
thank
have
you.
a question. I mean, apart from the DB guys, can anyone say what is the difference between? We have been speaking about database. So, what is the difference between? I mean, how can you relate a database and a table? What is the difference? Both store data. Can anyone take up this question?
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah,
Hello.
yeah,
Yeah. Am I
yeah,
audible?
Arif.
So,
Yes, yes, yes.
as per my understanding, actually table stores rows. So, one and more rows contains a table, and one and more tables contain a database. This is like some letters creates a word, and some words create a sentence. So this is like when we have multiple rows, single or multiple rows, that creates a table. So we can store rows in a table, and with multiple types of table creates a database.
Yeah, even I also have the same understanding. So table stores the records and database stores the tables.
Anybody wants
Okay.
to add anything, or everybody is aligned with this? It seems so. Rakesh, you can continue.
Yeah. Yeah. But this is correct. But still, generally, table, I would say, um, table, as I told, table never store the data. Maybe I will see why. Table is just a structure, and it is saying this is the way our data should be stored in a data file. Okay, generally for a beginner, maybe who are new, for them it's correct word. Like table contain the data. Okay, but internally, if you somebody is a core developer, they will say data file contain the data. So table help us to store the data in a structural way. Got it?
Yes, it kinds of helps us to visually
Correct,
organize the
correct,
seeing a data file, how it looks and how to manipulate becomes
correct.
difficult for
Let me let
so
me
So is
open
it
small.
implicitly, Rakesh, is it implicitly meaning that the data, what do you call the data file, right? The name of the
Correct,
data
correct.
file is the table.
No. Let me maybe for now, let's say, let's do not confuse. For now, let's make it one. Always table store the data. Maybe in as I told in the advanced topic, I'll cover up these things completely. For now, just make one thing. Table contain the data. Okay. And like again, example here we have update location team. Okay. So here we have these columns. Okay. So this table name is update location team. Okay, and these are the columns like location key, location ID, location source. Okay, and these are the rows, or we can call this a record. Okay, example. Okay, so for now, let's make it table contain the data. Maybe in future, I will tell why table does not contain data. As I told, table is just a structure. As I told, table is a structure. It just contains the structure. So how it is saying in the database, go and store data like a update location key. From there, just store this record. But internally, table do not have any records. Always record, as I told, right? You ask, right, where this data store? Data always store in a data file. But inside the data file, this table help to store the data organizedly in the data file. That's the correct
So it
answer.
means there is a relationship between the data file and the table name. So
Yes.
we have
Yes.
to
I will
understand
I
that,
will I
right?
will walk through this. I will walk through
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
No, so in the advanced topic, when I explain about table space, data file, and what is segment, how a data is being stored, right? For now, just make your understanding always data store in a table. At the time when the time come, I will explain why there is a difference. For now, just make it always data store in a table. Okay.
Anybody has any question? Rakesh, probably you, if you have not planned, then can you just let people know about schema as well? That is also required if
Yeah.
you have not covered.
Yeah, let me store maybe that also next topic. Okay, so schema is what? Like generally we call it as a user. Okay. Also we call it as a user means what? So like I'm a user, right? I'm connecting to this database. Okay. So generally I'm a user. So in your organization, say like you have say like here we have this, right? Admin dev, IQ is dev, IQ is fraud, IQ is fraud high. This all are we consider as a user. Okay, but a user also if you install Oracle internally Oracle create many users. Maybe somebody have used Oracle. One is Scott, and we will get HR, and we'll get some sys. Also we have sys, and we have system. Maybe people's may head. Okay, so these all are user. And if you see, sys is a highest user in Oracle database. Highest user means it has all the access like admin access. He is an admin account. Generally, in when you log in a Windows account, right? See, like this is my Windows account, right? So here, if you see, if I go to not here, here I'm a Windows account, but every OS we have an admin user, right? This admin user can control my, he can clean up my account, he can modify, but I cannot do anything, right? When even we install the software, we don't have the rights. Similar thing in database, if you see this Oracle DB, sys is a admin user. So generally when we connect, we use sys as sys DBA. Okay, and you have to pass the password. Generally it should be admin or some, for the past name it will be null. But this is like an admin user. Okay, and we are like Scott, HR, sys, OE. This is like nothing but a normal user. And if you see here, we have an admin user. If you see this admin dev, so this user have all the access. And if you see this IQB's dev example, so this user is a normal user. He do not have all the permission. Okay. Again, so like here, if you see, so far we got it. What is user? Any question? Then I will go to this schema. Anybody have any question? User is nothing but, again I repeat, user is nothing but in which login and which user you are connecting the DB. Okay, so this is a user. Even you can consider admin as a user. Also, we can consider admin as a schema. So there are two ways, but I will cover that part. But so far, any question on this user part? Okay, maybe.
No.
No, right. So same like when you onboarded, so like now in maybe if you go to some other organization, if you got your laptop, right? So generally they will create a user in database. Okay, so how they will create something like there is a syntax. I will just for now I just tell create user XYZ. Okay, then identified by password. Okay, so generally they will create a user, and this user they will provide some permission, and with that permission only you can able to access. Say like I created user called XYZ, and I don't have access to read the data from this table, so I cannot able to access. So then a admin user, right, who have that all the privileges, he can provide that access to user called XYZ, and he can grant the permission. Using that I can able to read this I can able to read this data from this table. Okay, so user is nothing but a normal user, similar to here. But if you see here, we have a opted location team. Generally, we call it as a user. Also, we can call it as a schema. So, what is schema? See, for now, I'm querying a table. Let's start from this table. And sometimes, let me this IQ is tab. Okay, schema means what? If you connect it to some different user, okay, and you may get tabular view does not exist, you may get some error. So at that time, what you have to do, you have to use this schema name IQBIG dot. So this is just a user, or we can call it the schema. So select star from schema name dot table name, or we can call select star from username dot table name. So under this user, this table is exist. Got it? So
But if you are not allowed, so suppose I am a user of XYZ schema and I am
mhm.
trying to access a table from ABC schema, can I access it?
No, if you do not have permission, you cannot able to access. That's what we
Okay.
are creating. You know, right? We have some things like grant, right? Revoke. So this, I think this we haven't. So grant and revoke. So this grant and revoke, we call it is something called, we call it D data control language. No. There is another keyword I am not able to recall it, but we have a grant and revoke. Using that, we can maintain the permission. Okay,
DTL.
permission means a user. I want XYZ user. Say like here we created a user called XYZ, and I want to provide that user SS means this user can able to read from this data. So generally, what we can do, grant select on this table to XYZ. So what will happen? Now this XYZ user can able to select the record from this table, but he cannot able to alter, he cannot able to insert, he cannot able to delete until and unless I haven't provided the grant. So this is the database security. Okay, we call it is it DRL, data security DSL something. Grant security. There is some D start with it. So it's like a security, means a XYZ user, he only able to select the record. Okay, they given the grants, right? This he only able to select the record. He cannot able to delete, he cannot able to alter, he cannot able to even truncate. Okay. So this is the like grant. Again, a admin user can revoke also. Revoke means revoke. Generally, there is a syntax revoke. Select.
These are transaction keywords of SQL. DTL.
Okay, so similar kind of syntax. So using this, what will happen? It will revoke the permission. Okay. So this is all about grant and revoke, but we will walk through this when we start this create table and alter table, inserting records, update, delete, and when we provide the grants. Generally, we are creating a table. Maybe next time tomorrow, I will create this table and I will try to assess this table in different schema or different user, and you will see you cannot able to assess this table. So at that time, we will provide the grants so that this XY chart or any user can able to read the table. Okay, maybe that we will cover tomorrow. Okay.
Yeah, Rakesh.
So
For today, yes,
Mhm.
for today, I guess we are good. It was a good session. So probably you can spend 5 minutes asking random questions to people. Okay.
Correct, correct. So guys, any other question apart from, I know this grant and revoke also, maybe it's maybe for now what we discuss about DML, DDL, DCL, and this grant and revoke. Also we discuss about how this table structure, what is table, also how a data has been stored and data type. Maybe I will come tomorrow with more on data type. Right. So tomorrow class, maybe I will discuss tomorrow. We will discuss about create table and data type. Data type
And
means
also
how many type.
before the session, Rakesh, help them install Oracle as well.
Okay. Okay. Sure. Then maybe I will tomorrow I will start with installing this Oracle. I will guide you how to install this Oracle in your personal system or in your office it is already there. Now you no need to install. You just you can connect to any user or you can install. Or maybe I can make you this Scott schema tomorrow. I'll explain. So we have a Scott user. Okay, in that the Scott user you have an employee and department information. Okay, so directly those SQL file I will provide here. You can directly run this script in your DB, maybe in your working environment also in dev. Maybe we will demonstrate in these two table. We have a EMP table, also we have a department table. So we will walk through these two table. It is very easy, these two table, and we'll get more understanding. Okay, so sit tight, guys. We have so many things to talk. Okay, so it's just a starting beginning of the first day. So anyhow, we are going to spend good amount of time. So we will cover all your doubts and question. Okay, just be with me for a couple of days. Then all together will be on sync. Okay.
Okay.
I think
Thank
today
you.
already I think late. So thank you guys.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Rakesh.
Rakesh. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Rakesh.
Thank you.
Thanks everyone.